Look at how clear that is. You can see my face through it. Look at how clear that one is. I think you can see my face even more through this one. Typically. I'm gonna say typically one more time. Why am I starting my video the day before my brew day talking to you about beers that I've already brewed? Berliner Weiss, Saison. Well, it just so happens to be the most important lesson that I've learned in my brewing career. Stick around, and I'm gonna go over all that while we brew a Festbier, because it's September, Oktoberfest is gonna be here before we know it. I've gotta get this beer going. I'm gonna go start prepping stuff for tomorrow's brew day. I'll be back then. Meanwhile, I got a couple beers I gotta finish. See you tomorrow. I didn't get quite an early start. I didn't get quite, I can't talk today. I didn't get as early of a start as I kind of normally do. It's a little bit after 6 o'clock right now in the morning. I haven't even turned on my kettle yet. I just weighed out my grains. I want to go over with you guys first, just my entire recipe this time. There's another YouTuber out there, he's a Brewtuber, called Mean Brews. I'm gonna put a link to his channel down in the description below, but I find his channel fascinating. So if you have never checked him out, go check him out. He doesn't do grain to glass videos or anything like that. What he does is he breaks down winning recipes for a style, and then he takes like the averages or the mean from all those winning brews, and then he designs his recipe based around the averages of the winning brews. And so he's got a Festbier recipe, and I basically am following that pretty much percentage wise for the grains. I'm following it exactly. Same thing with the hops and the hop schedule. I'm following his mash schedule. I am going to use a different yeast that he uses because I don't have that yeast here, and I have another lager yeast that I really wanted to try. I also am not using the exact same grains he used. I'm using all Mecca grade estate malt grains. Crushed my grains. I've got Pelton, which is Pilsner malt, about 6 pounds of that, a little over 6 pounds of Pelton Pilsner malt from Mecca grade. I've got 2 pounds, 14 ounces of Metolius, which is their Munich, and then Venora, which is their Vienna style malt. We're getting close to strike 10. I'm going to try a step mash again, which means over propane. I've got my little pulley system rigged up there. I'm gonna have to pull the bag off the bottom, and I'm gonna have to do that twice. Here's my mash schedule. 128 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes, protein rest. 144 minutes for 40 minutes. And then 154 degrees Fahrenheit for 50 minutes. That's kind of a long mash schedule. I'm not really used to that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get a bunch of stuff done while my beer's mashing, and then come back and check on it. So it should work out fine. Gosh, this smells so good. This is my favorite part. So this is my protein rest. Time for high-tech inhalation. Tuck it in nicely. Check the time, 6:48. It's been 15 minutes. Let's unwrap the baby here. Make sure it's off the bottom. So I'm just gonna slowly bring it up to 144. All right, 144. Definitely one of the downsides to propane here and this insulation. I get to tuck it back in. 710. See, it's 750. Well, hello. Give it a nice little stir. Time to pull the bag again. Go Angels. Welcome to the Gong Show. Give it a little stir again. Yeah, you guessed it. You know what time it is. It's tuck-in time. So it's pretty much 8 o'clock, so 8:50. I'll be starting my boil. Oh, that reminds me. What is one of the most important lessons that I've learned in brewing? It's one word: patience. When I first started brewing, I was very impatient. I didn't want to wait for beer. I didn't want to wait for it. I didn't want to wait 2 weeks for it to ferment. I didn't want to wait 2 weeks for it to carb up in the bottle. So I was constantly checking my beer and trying it. But one of the things I've learned, most beer gets better with a little bit more time. Just patience. I have gotten beers done in as little as 5-6 days, and they are definitely drinkable, but those beers have by far gotten better and better over time. What does that have to do with this Festbier? Well, this Festbier is a lager, and I'm going to do it as a traditional lager. I'm using a lager yeast. I'm gonna be fermenting it cool, which means it's gonna need more time. So I'm just gonna have to let it sit and wait and be patient, because it's gonna take a little bit more time to ferment. I need to give it some time to actually lager. I'm hoping to get this one ready and maybe be drinking it early October-ish. Patience is key in brewing. This is the longest mash. Let's pull the bag. That's a lot of good work right there. One and a half ounces of Hallertauer Mittelfrüher. 3/4 of an ounce of Hallertauer Mittelfrüher going in with 10 minutes left. Not one, not two, but 3 packets of Saftlager S189 Swiss yeast for neutral flavored beers with a high drinkability. Yes, please. Check that out. That is some good looking wort. This was a really long brew day. 10:46. I woke up at about 5:30. I started around 6, kind of getting everything ready. So this was a really long brew day. The step mash was really long. Overall, I'm really pretty excited for this beer. I've never done a Festbier before. I'm excited to see how his recipe turns out, and I'm really excited to try this new yeast, this S189. See you guys in like a month. I got it in my mustache. This beer was actually ready on September 30th, but I did not do the tasting that day. I was going to, I had planned on it, but I got busy, too much happened, and then I decided to try to do Sober October. So as of today, it is Wednesday, October 13th, and I am doing the tasting, and I am officially breaking my Sober October for this beer, which I have not had since September 30th. So, but I'm doing it for you guys. I'm gonna take one for the team, because you know what? It's a really bad idea to do Sober October when you are a Brewtuber. That is not a smart move. October is like a great time for Festbiers. Let me give you the tasting, because I'm looking forward to this one. I was super excited to use this yeast too, this Swiss yeast. It is not bright yet, but it is clearing up. I did not add any finings to the keg or anything. I just was figuring I was gonna let this one lager like normal. It's doing a pretty good job. It's doing a pretty good job. It's clearing up. It'll get clearer. And right off the bat, I don't get any hop aroma at all. I get like a really sweet malt aroma. It smells really good. It's not too overpowering. I'm not gonna wait any longer. I've waited 13 days for this, so here we go. Good carbonation. For a Festbier, it's on the higher side of the alcohol content. I got way better efficiency than I was expecting. It ended up at a 6% alcohol, which is a little bit more than I was really expecting. And I do get a little bit of the alcohol, like that warming effect. You can just kind of taste it, which is not, I don't know, I'd prefer maybe not to have that, but it's not bad. It's not like it's making it bad. I just, 6% for a Festbier, if I was gonna drink like a whole liter of this thing, I'd want it to be a little less than 6%. but then I get a really nice malt character, and then on the back end, it's that bready character. It's probably just because it's the Mecha grade estate malts, like super bready malt on the back end. Really, really good, really pleasing. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for sticking around. Cheers to you guys.